Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly he's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie. Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly he's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie.
There's no second best crypto asset.
Right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How is everybody today on this fine and wonderful day? All leveraged up to the tits, I hope. There is no second best. Yes, for new stream viewers, there is no second best is the noise that Michael Saylor makes whenever someone follows the stream. So I'll just answer the question that you are not going insane if you hear Michael Saylor's voice. Got COVID. Oh shit, that's not good. I'm literally just about recovering from COVID. Is there higher than 69,000x? No, I don't think there is. I think you're doing alright. Sputtering. That is not good, mate. Just take some rest. Drink lots of water. What, PBS? Am I predicting? BPS, maybe? But, I don't know. We'll talk about views, positioning, all that kind of wonderful stuff in a bit. I've got the legendary Abe Trade joining me as a guest today. So I'm going to grill him about his travels, about his views on the market, and a bit about his trading journey as well. Because, you know, Adam is one of the few quote-unquote real traders in this space. And, yeah, we'll get into it, but he's traded all sorts of shit, like bonds, yeah, and if you've studied any of his materials, he knows his game. Can you ask him to chart Hex? I will ask him to chart Hex. But yes, thank you all for joining me on this wonderful day, and without further ado, I will unmute Adam and hope that we have no technology issues. Hello, Adam. How are you, sir?
Can you hear me? Hi.
Yes.
Oh, nice. I had the thing muted.
I had a second there where I was like, oh fuck, Boomer Charlie has.
Yeah, because you muted me, and I was like talking here all along, when you were introducing me. Okay, nice. Hi.
Hey man, can the chat hear him? Has technology
Uh,
worked? Sounds good, loud and clear. Yes, this is the first W of the day. Technology working. Audio's quality excellent. So how are you doing today, mate?
I'm fine, thank you. It's kind of nice here, not so hot. Finally, so yeah, everything's better, much better.
Yeah. Have you been actively trading this, or have you been taking a bit of a step out the last few weeks? I know you.
Well, I moved I moved to Spain a month ago, and before that I was traveling for 2 months. So I took quite a bit of a break. Not nothing that I was stuck to this for a couple of years, basically almost all day. Tend to what I always did was basically just leave for like 1 month and go to Asia or somewhere, but that kind of changed with COVID. So definitely took a break after quite some time now. And yeah, I've been slowly getting back into things. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I mean, you've missed the bull run of 2022. I'm afraid.
Yeah,
That's it.
it was kind of nice. I was when I was leaving, I was thinking like, yeah, it's summer, it's not much is going to happen anyway. And although price did basically nothing the whole time, there was still some nice kind of rotations, on inside that range. If you are going to compare it to something like last summer, I think was when market did basically nothing for 2 months. So this was kind of decent. I when I came back, I was looking at it. I was like, yeah, this was definitely a tradable market.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been quite volatile, really, and there have definitely been some outliers in terms of altcoins or shitcoins that it's where I.
Oh, I see people commenting that my audio quality is horrible is because it's using the headphones. Nice. Is this better?
Is that better?
Uh, can you? Okay, now you. Fucking hell. Sorry.
Oh, that is
Okay.
buttery smooth now. That is
Oh,
buttery
nice.
smooth.
Yeah, I was using the AirPods Max microphone, which I didn't even know
Oh.
existed. I'm sorry for that. I think.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that is literally crystal clear now. It sounds like I'm sat next to you, looking up at your wheelbarrow painting or whatever it is.
Yeah, because I've seen people in chat just talking shit about my audio, and they usually just talk shit about my accent. So I figured out that something is wrong, basically.
So it's just the accent that's the problem now, chat. Yeah.
Yeah, just my Russian accent. Yeah.
Accent is valid. Don't worry. Excellent.
Okay, cool, nice.
So you didn't have any trades going into your holiday. You didn't feel the need to sort of FOMO into any positions or anything like that.
I was trading some days, basically, like traveling for 2 months, and I was traveling by car because I have a dog. So, it was constantly kind of moving all over the place. So there were some days where I felt like, just doing nothing, basically. Also, it's a super smart thing to go to Italy, to Tuscany, in summer where there is like 45 degrees, basically. So there were some days where I was just kind of in Airbnb, and I had the MacBook. So I traded a little bit, but I never really held anything for long. I just kind of opened it when the US started traded for a couple of hours, and then went to do other things.
Oh, nice. So you were traveling and trading. Now that
Yeah,
is.
but it was overall like just few days. Like I like one day a week, basically. It wasn't. I wasn't. I wanted to take just a full break and not looking into anything, but you will kind of miss it. So
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely get that. It's there was a good meme that went around the other day, which was Bilbo Baggins, and it's the old version of him, and it's after all, why not? Why shouldn't I check price? And I was like, that is
Yeah.
so true. You kind
Yeah,
of there's
definitely.
just a little bit of like, well, when you have this like I guess, untapped and infinite resource to either lose or make money. It's quite addictive. It's the 24/7 casino, isn't it?
And I was also kind of thinking like, then I'm like, I won't be trading for 3 months. What if I come back and it's not going to work, anymore? So I just needed this kind of a reassurance. Yeah, okay, I can still lose money very quickly. It's all fine. I can I can continue with the vacation.
Yeah, thank God. I can still liquidate it.
Yeah.
I can still get liquidated. I can still donate my money, effective altruist, and all that kind of wonderful stuff. So were you in crypto? Were you always in crypto, or were you trading, proper things?
No, like I think I got into markets around, I think like 2015 was like the first time when I kind of found some binary options on Forex, which basically were promising, you will be a millionaire after 1 week of trading. And I
take it you were, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
like
obviously.
I just traded 1 week in 2015, and I don't trade anymore for 7 years. I just hang out on Twitter because I'm bored. But no, I was trading Forex basically when I started for the first time, like I said, around 2015. But I was doing something else, this wasn't the main thing or anything. And I didn't even have like much money, and I was just kind of learning very slowly. Back then there was no like, I think like quick crypto Twitter was kind of like starting out. There were not many people in crypto. There were not many people in like trading general. It wasn't this kind of a full of YouTubers that Moon Carlos and everything basically. So I was just spending a lot of times on like different forums. The Forex Factory, which is this website. A lot of people use it for calendar, but they have like a huge forum. Like it's like so many threads on different styles of trading and everything. So I just was kind of going through that when I had time. Wasn't too serious about it. And then towards the end of 2017, I got into crypto. I knew about BTC like since I think like 2014. Basically, the guy I went to school with, one day he just came and asked me if I want to mine bitcoins with him, like that I need to give him like $2,000, and we will be mining bitcoins together. I told him fuck off, basically. It's like it's some useless scam. I'm not going to do that. But I was kind of aware what BTC is when I got in, towards the end of 2017. I think it was around September or November. So I got a little bit from that kind of a bull run. I think when everything crashed in January or February, I kind of came out mostly break even, I would say. I remember I went to Myanmar to just travel for a month, and I had the Delta app in my phone. I was just watching everything going to zero. So I kind of ended up cutting everything out basically. But it was around the time when I really decided that I want to trade more. And just focus on trading more basically. And back then it was very different market. BTC, it was traded only on BitMEX, and basically what after everything crashed, the price action on Bitcoin was just 1% range, and then 10% wicks to both sides basically on BitMEX, which didn't even work when you wanted to trade actually. So
order submission failure.
Yeah. So due to that, I started basically focusing on just traditional markets. I was trading Forex at first, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, due to the fact that Forex is traded over the counter basically. So I got pretty quickly into futures and into all this kind of order flow and volume and all this type of stuff. And you can't really do that in Forex. So I started basically trading futures. European futures, European bonds, European kind of equity indices, stuff that people never kind of even heard about in crypto. But yeah, I was trading that for I think 3 years. I was working in a firm that was also kind of specializing in the legacy market. So definitely my focus in crypto since like 2017 until 2020 wasn't that big. But then in 2020, when the COVID hit, I was kind of like for the first time in a long time, I was just locked down alone. And I kind of figured out it would be cool to start a blog about all these kind of concepts, because once again, in 2020, or, when I learned everything that I do, there was not many stuff online about that. And usually, you can learn these things from like courses that cost, a couple thousands of dollars, because, it was always kind of presented with this institutional way of trading, which I always love to hear so much. So yeah, and I started a blog. I made a Twitter. But if you ever kind of traded bond markets or anything, the average kind of age is like 60 plus basically. So you are not going to, it's mostly German people, and they are very kind of old and boring. And I found like 5 people who were trading bonds. But yeah, the crypto Twitter, with my little twisted, sense of humor and everything, I kind of fit right in. And then I figured it out. I got into some discords with Insilico and Jim and some other people, and I figured out that I will kind of give this a shot as well, since I'm already kind of talking with people who are doing the same thing.
Yeah, so it was part of the actual network as well that was the appeal for you in crypto. And Twitter and the culture,
definitely.
I guess.
The culture, yeah. the strange culture. Well, I've like, for me, it was really different. And, obviously in hindsight, I haven't made as much money as I would kind of do if I would be focusing on different things. I was buying, like Solana under $1, BNB under like $10. But for me, it was like a meme, like, it's just shit coins. I didn't care. I didn't know what Solana is basically back then. I bought, everything that came out from DeFi and all these things, but I wasn't really believing in it. So from all these trades, which were basically the generational wealth, I cut them for like 2x, and I was super happy with myself.
So what made you ape them? What made you ape them in the first place? Was it just other people's belief, or was it the chart, or was it?
It was just kind of other people in Discord. They were talking about like Uniswap releasing the token, and I had no idea what that is, but I bought in, just for kind of a fun experience. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember the Uni USD run was incredible stuff.
I think I even got like an airdrop from it, and I obviously sold it very quickly, but
yeah.
But yeah, for me, like when I kind of got into crypto, I was looking at, back then I basically got into crypto, like started taking it seriously like few weeks before the whole BitMEX thing happened, where Arthur basically got arrested, or the SEC, this whole thing basically that happened, and people left BitMEX in like a huge fashion. BitMEX basically became kind of a irrelevant exchange overnight. So yeah, I was then looking into things, and I was kind of aware that there is a huge bull market going on, people printing money and all that, and COVID is meme and everything. So I was riding it a little bit, but from my kind of a experience and way of trading, I think that's kind of the point where my not being a huge believer in crypto basically took this kind of a toll on that. I was never really able to hold things for super long time, because I was just I had very basic understanding of what things basically are. But on the other hand, I'm not like mad about it, is because obviously there is this kind of a opposite situation where people who were huge believers ended up holding things to zero basically. So
3AC.
So yeah, but I don't know, I found crypto very cool, and especially trading BTC at the time, from this kind of a perspective of very dumb market participants basically, and super dumb order flow, because coming into from something like bonds, where basically you see someone buying a huge amount of contracts, it's not something that you want to necessarily fade, like it tells you that even if you trade like ES or something like that, like in legacy markets, oftentimes when you see someone really stepping in and market kind of respecting that price, you don't really want to be that one guy who tries to kind of just go against him. But this was like complete opposite on crypto, basically, where you see price, going up or down, and all these kind of volumes and deltas and everything just scream at you like everyone is shorting, and then price kind of stops all of a sudden, and you can be very kind of certain that this is something you can actually go and fade, and you will end up making money, basically. So definitely I was quite fascinated by this kind of a retard mechanic, basically, and yeah, kind of stuck around that until now.
So what made you trade crypto was the autistic community and the fact that you can see idiots long and short, well, long tops, short bottoms, and counter trade them.
Yeah, basically, because even when I was trading, basically in January of 21 was, and I'm not sure if I'm 100% correct on this, but January 21 was this month when BTC rallied quite a bit. It just moved from, I don't even know, from like 20 to 35K or something like that. If you maybe can check that, and I'm not going to look like a complete fool, but it was quite a big month in January. And the way I was kind of trading it, I was holding a spot, but not that much. But what I was basically doing was just like sitting at looking at Bybit, I think, and in every kind of a small pullback, you could literally see people like trying way too hard, basically just fade it, the call, the top, and you could just buy into it. It was like super easy. I think it was like one of the months when I had like a biggest win rate I ever had in trading, because price was just going up, and all you had to do was just like wait for a small pullback where you would see the order flow and every all these other indicators, even simple volume of people really trying to kind of call the top on the whole move to the upside, and you just buy into it. So yeah, that was really nice kind of month of trading. It was kind of like a perfect explanation of how intraday trading of crypto works.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, even sort of very simple trend following systems. It's just a slap an EMA on it. you would have longed quite a long time ago, and obviously you would have had to anticipate that this was going to be a hugely trending move, which is in theory impossible to do.
I think that's when the kind of a whole belief in the things comes in. For me, it was always just kind of a risk on assets that can go up, can go down. So yeah, definitely. Like if it would repeat, and obviously I implemented some things that would allow me hold things for longer if this is going to ever happen again. But yeah,
what do you mean what do you mean if this is the greatest asset of all time? It's going to be $1 billion. And
it's so funny though. Like I always go to Twitter and everyone is like, this is top 10 things you need to do for the next cycle, and I was like, yeah, is there going to be a next cycle?
Yeah, I think that's the main question, isn't it? I mean, I definitely, like, my personal view is probably, but it will look very different. Like, it will be 20% of coins, because we've got such, disparate liquidity now. We've got 20,000 fucking coins on Coin Market Cap, for Christ's sake. Yeah. Like, there's so many shit coins to choose from that how are you going to pick the one that goes 1,000,000x? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I once again, I'm not too big into all these kind of fundamental things, but from my experience, if I think about the stuff which I was buying in 2017, the coins, not only the coins, the exchanges I was using in 2017, they don't exist anymore. So yeah, like I had a lot of these kind of dragon chains, and
the Disney coin, it's gonna come back.
The Disney coin, and there was a Poloniex, hit BTC, all these kind of exchanges, they just don't exist anymore. So I don't know. I always kind of wonder about, because obviously I think for this kind of bull run, the biggest kind of thing was this layer ones and DeFi and everything. But if that's kind of going to fail again, then I think something completely new will have to come in, and most of these things will just disappear after a few years, basically.
Yeah. So you're not an omega bull on crypto.
Yeah, but I think, like, on the other hand, I think there will be another cycle. I think there will be a bull market, simply based on, you know, how people behave, you know, once the inflation is not, you know, 8% or whatever it is now, and once things kind of calm down, assuming that, you know, world is not going to end completely, which is kind of possible if you look what's been happening. But yeah, when things kind of go back to more normal and people will get this kind of a risk appetite again, then I think there will be a bull market. You know, I don't think since crypto is so big now, and the correlation with legacy markets is so huge, because that's kind of a new thing, you know, this whole, you know, crypto stock market correlation. I think when stocks will kind of pick up the pace, then a lot of the money will flow into crypto as well. So I think there will be a next bull market. I just not sure if you know, a lot of these coins and projects that are here now will be here in a few years.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you look at the top projects, I'm sure people post it every now and again on Twitter, which is, you know, the top 100 back in 2017 at like the peak of the bull run, and 90% of those coins, you know, 2021 participants wouldn't even recognize because they all fucking died.
Like I was buying a Dash for like $1,000 or something like that. I think that's like
the Dash
10
Masternode.
now. Yeah.
That was the Masternode coin, wasn't it? Where if you had a Dash
Neo and
Masternode, you were retired.
all these things. Yeah. So, and you know, back then it was looking like the best technology, you know, that can ever exist, basically. And you know, no one would think it will be just completely gone within, you know, 4 years, basically, which is not that long period of time anyway.
Yeah, and you're right. I think we've had a lot of discovery cycles, I suppose I would call them, in terms of like, yes, this is going to be the latest and greatest. You know, layer ones was a good rotation, and it was a big cycle, but it's kind of been done. And I think we'll see that actually, you know, there are a few layer ones that are having or having a lot of transactions on them and are actually being used and being used as they were intended. And yeah, they'll probably grow and price will probably match it, but it's not going to be, I don't think there's going to be exponential 100x gains on things like ETH the next cycle, personally.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think since the correlation is so high, and I basically think about, you know, trading BTC nowadays is something like trading in Nasdaq, you know, Nasdaq futures.
Yeah, it is.
This kind of a thin ES market, you know, more kind of a volatile, but still follows ES quite a bit. So, you know, and all these altcoins are basically just, although they technically not, but you know, since the correlation in crypto is even higher, you know, it's all this kind of a part of this big thing. So I don't know, like it's hard to tell if there will be some you know 100x coming for Solana or, you know, ETH or something like that nowadays. You know, it would have to mean something probably more kind of a innovative than, you know, trading JPEGs and things that have been going on. So
are you not big on the NFTs then, Adam? You're not all in crypto dick butts NFTs?
I did. I think over the last 2 years, I had like 3 moments where I bought something and basically everything went to zero.
I shouldn't laugh. Sorry.
Yeah. Also when the Bored Apes came out, that's kind of funny. They hit the OpenSea, which and they were, I don't know, they were like under 1 ETH at the time. I was in Discord with some people and they minted few of them and they were sharing that. I actually opened the website and it was kind of cool. It had this kind of a steampunk, you know, kind of vibe. Back then it was only CryptoPunk, so I kind of liked it. I went to the OpenSea and I wanted to buy like 3 of them, I think. And you know, back then the ETH was around 4K, I think. And you know, you need basically a mortgage to be able to pay the gas fees.
Yeah.
So I clicked the transaction and it was like $1,500 for the transaction, just the fee. And I was, no fucking way I'm paying that. And I just canceled that and closed the browser. So yeah, that's kind of a fun thing. But overall, I'm not against the NFTs. I think it's just another kind of a market to trade. You know, people are huge into the collectibles and everything. Yeah. I just personally don't like the fact how illiquid it is. You know, meaning that it's much easier to kind of manipulate. If you have a 100 ETH, let's say, and you buy perps, you long or short perps, on ETH with 100 ETH, nothing happens. Barely someone will notice that this kind of went in. But if you just dump 100 ETH into some smaller collection, and you will create this kind of a hype around it, people start buying it. It's much easier to kind of manipulate NFTs, and it's much more kind of a social game, which I hate. Like, you have to be
You just want it to
friends.
be you in the chat.
Yeah. And with NFTs, you need to be friends with everyone, and you need to be active in Discords to get to the whitelists and everything.
Yeah,
And
you basically got to do a backflip and suck a dick for a
yeah,
whitelist.
You have to definitely suck a lot of dicks for being on a whitelist and everything, and it's so not for me. Basically, I'm very kind of like my own space. so yeah. But other than that, I have nothing against. it. I just kind of find a little funny that the biggest thing that came from the whole kind of a crypto space, and this is going to change the world and everything, is basically trading JPEGs. But
you don't believe in digital privacy of transactions, or cross-border minimal transaction fee payments and all that kind of wonderful stuff.
Yeah, but then you have something like Dydex coming out with you store another cash in 3 months ago, here's your account locked, and all your informations are sent to SEC.
Oh yeah.
I'm not 100% sure the banking, the unbanked, it's actually true. So
good at all the full names.
so yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know. I think a lot of things were cool. Obviously, the whole kind of DeFi, borrowing, lending. Although I'm pretty sure my savings account in bank has now bigger yields than something like Aave. But
what about Luna, bro? What about Luna? 20% risk-free APR.
Yeah, 20%. Yeah, but it's kind of a thing, right? Like the technology can be cool and everything, but it will still kind of get fucked up in the end of the day by people being greedy. It's just the human nature. People will always find a way to fuck up. So yeah, it's the tech is cool and everything, but people got, I feel like people got too greedy. There are so many exploits and stuff like that. So yeah, it didn't really work out in the end for crypto, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there was a new exploit yesterday, wasn't there? Wintermute.
I don't even keep up at this point. But...
No. The only reason I kept up with it is because someone in the group posted Wintermute Inu, which is like, so you have this DeFi protocol that's hacked for, I can't even remember, whatever it was, 150 million or something. And then the first thing that the autistic devs think about is, right, I'll go and create a Dogcoin meme and call it Wintermute Inu. And I tweeted it. I was like, this is why we cannot have nice things, because there's just, the space is saturated with scammers. It's saturated with people who are just going to do that. I'm sure on the day like the Queen died and stuff like that.
There was like 20 coins.
Yeah, probably like just a load of like meme things that just spring up on a last little grab for cash. Do you know what I mean?
I think crypto, it's like, people from like countries where I would say where we live in, where things are relatively easy, when you can go to the bank and access your money and everything, they will always just see this as this kind of a quick money grab, the huge speculation. And obviously there are, I'm not like huge against crypto, because definitely there are big use cases. I know some people in countries where it's not so easy to get into bank accounts or send money overseas and stuff like that. So definitely like crypto has its use case. I would just say like 99% of these people just trying to get rich quick, basically. But yeah, there are definitely some use cases where you would only need like stable coins and Tether, but yeah.
So do you have faith in things like Tether? Do you keep your money in stables and on exchanges and all that kind of wonderful stuff? Or are you, because you're obviously quite adverse to the technology in terms of like, it's not going to change the world particularly. But
well, Well, I remember one of the first things when I actually got into crypto in 2017 was whole Tether drama back then. You know, the Bitfinex on Twitter. He's been going on a lot even back then, and I didn't have that much money back then, but nothing happened. You know, nowadays I have a little more, but I try to kind of diversify it. You know, I have and in any exchange that is kind of a trustable, I keep some money. When it comes to stable coins, a lot of these exchanges offer the fiat off ramps. So I try to use that. On the other hand, I think if Tether would go down, like everything would just go to shit and most exchanges would go to shit. So I'm just kind of telling these things to myself to be able to sleep better at night.
Yeah. There is some systematic risk regardless of what exchange there is.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I try to keep things in more places. You know, I think if you go with like Binance and I have kind of faith in Kraken for at least like for fiat. I use them for even when I want to, you know, send money into crypto. I never had issues with them, and they've been, you know, in space for I think one of the longest existing exchanges basically. And other places, you know, I think Binance is kind of like, I don't want to say too big to fail, because let's see that, you know, Binance will fail next week.
Yeah, but you said it here. You said it here. That's it. So if Binance, if anything ever happens to Binance, which I'm sure it won't, as well, that's getting clipped and shipped.
But I'm not keeping money in like, you know, fucking like MetaMask or, you know, on some like shady exchanges or stuff like that. You know, I try to be as kind of secure as possible, you know, using the all different types of, you know, verifications and everything. So I would say that the risk is quite small at this point. You know, it's nothing too insane. And since I you know, don't really sell drugs online, and I'm not using the Tornado Cash and all the other kind of shady things, I think it's kind of like safe-ish.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, it's as safe as it can be, basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. You know, like I'm from Czech Republic basically. So back in February, you know, when the war started, and you know, Ukraine being like 1,000 kilometers from me, and there were some Russian banks, you know, and that they were operating in Prague, and they just went down, you know, after like first week basically. So I was kind of sitting at home like, yeah, like having money on Binance is one thing, but you know, is my money safe in my bank actually? So you know, you will never have this kind of 100%, you know, assurance that you will just wake up one day and you are poor again and everything was just nice kind of dream.
Yeah, so it was a nice dream, right back to reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to think what I'd be doing if it wasn't crypto. Do you know what I mean? Like, I used to be like an accountant, so way back when, that was fucking boring. Working in finance, well, sort of accountant, but yeah, that's very different than than logging shit coins.
Yeah, but you could be doing some like the Ozark shit, you know, like money laundering and stuff like that.
True.
That sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, branch out into a form of crypto money laundering conversation. This fucking stream is going to appear in my trial, isn't it? That's it. Well, we have evidence. Ah, shit. No, I think the market is an absolute blessing. I mean, I guess there's probably two questions coming off that. What would make you leave this market, if anything?
Well, I think for me, you know, one of the biggest kind of advantages and disadvantages at the same time is that I'm not a huge believer in the tech. Same as I wasn't, you know, huge believer in European bonds when I was trading them. So for me, you know, as long as there is kind of a volatility, as long as markets is moving basically, and as long as, you know, there are dumb people that you can take the opposite side of their trades, you know, I'm good basically. So yeah, it's for me, it's really just a kind of a risk on asset, like many other different risk on assets. So yeah, I think I quite enjoy you know, trading and all this. I always kind of talk shit about it online and how it's fucking depressing and boring. But on the other hand, I like the fact that I was never a big kind of a team player, working person. Like I did some things before I started trading where it was kind of a highly relying on working with people. And although the thing that I was doing, I was kind of good at it. I hated the fact that I had to talk to other people and kind of
No, it's
all
good.
these kind of team things. So yeah, definitely for me, it's one of the biggest advantages that I am kind of my sole my decision making is the only thing that will make
Yeah.
me either rich or liquidated.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I always used to think of, like in a traditional role, yes, you might have a bonus or something as part of your contract and all that kind of stuff, but that's 100% discretionary. And the reality is that, if you have a good month, you might get paid your $1,000, $2,000, whatever it is, a month that you're on. But if you have a bad month, you're going to get the same amount. So there's kind of like no incentive from a performance perspective to really do anything
Yeah,
above and beyond, the absolute bare
definitely.
minimum.
Yeah,
And I always
yeah.
used to be someone who put in like 110%. So this is way back when, I guess. Until I actually launched my own business, and you own something and you have equity and you have a reason to grow it. Like it's just, yeah. And I guess migration from that to trading is, you have a good week, your P&L shows it. You have a bad week, your P&L shows it. And guess what? You've only got you to fucking blame.
Yeah, that's the worst thing you can't blame someone else.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
but it's definitely,
people
and is
try
this
though.
kind of a yeah, is this kind of a huge cliche? A lot of people talk about it, that trading is the same as having a business, basically. Like, if there are days when you are not going to make money, there are days when you will make money. You never kind of know what the next day will bring, and only thing that you can do is kind of a follow the rules, not doing any kind of stupid shit, which unfortunately and people, a lot of people do when it comes to trading. But yeah, you need to find this kind of a even for a lot of people I mean, most people are discretionary traders, but you need to find this kind of a systematic
Yeah.
approach, at least.
So do you occasionally do dumb, stupid shit? Do you have the
Yeah,
odd
definitely.
1 in 100 trade where you look at it and you go, what the fuck was I doing?
Yeah, I do. I mean, like, I'm not doing it from like a money management perspective. I'm not
Yeah,
like walking to the computer and be like, yeah, fuck it, let's just risk it all. But
yeah.
but yeah, definitely, I took a loss overnight from Sunday to Monday. I was long BTC when that huge drop basically happened.
Mm.
And one of my rules is not fucking opening new positions during the weekend. So yeah, definitely, I tend to make mistakes. But I still like to think it's kind of like a calculated mistake. Like, if I lose a trade, even when I did something stupid, I'm not going to lose more than it's kind of healthy, basically.
Yeah, no, 100%. As long as you're staying in the game and you're
Yeah,
not just blowing yourself up, like you say, you don't need to make it in one trade. And I think when people
yeah,
start
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
on a, multi-year time horizon and treating this like a business, you kind of get that
Definitely.
risk management
Yeah,
piece
yeah, yeah.
nailed down, don't you?
Yeah, it's it's just a like probabilities and everything. I'm sure people heard this many times
Yeah.
before, but we are not super smart people. I always like to kind of remind myself that I'm quite dumb. I I do one thing pretty good, which is looking at candlesticks going up and down and seeing what people are buying and selling at the time. But I don't have any kind of education for it. I don't think I'm super smart, and I'm well kind of a self-aware by the fact that at the end of the day, I'm just kind of gambling, and outcome of every single trade is random. I will never know if the trade I will open will be a winner or loser, and the only thing I can do to end up making money from all of this is just kind of be consistent, risk uh modest amounts that will not kill me in drawdowns, and just kind of rely on this small edge that I have, that in
Yeah.
or 40 to 50% of cases, I will make double than I risk, basically.
Happy days. So slowly over time, you're creeping up instead of yeeting it all into a dog coin and watching it rug.
Yeah. yeah.
Someone in the chat, name has said, has Ape Trade not been given the CT influencer manual where you don't talk about losses? Because I thought you had 100% hit rate, mate. What's this?
Yeah, unfortunately, I got so many like DMs and people asking me like, what's Bitcoin is going to do next, and I'm always like, well, if I knew, I wouldn't be sitting on Twitter all day, like no one knows, and it's always super hard to kind of tell what, and most people, on Twitter especially, they focus on this kind of a macro and higher time frames, and always tell you the lower time frames are the meme and you shouldn't be trading lower time frames. But to be fair, like it's at the end of the day, it's kind of easier to predict what's going to happen in next 1 hour basically than be like, okay, I will buy this and in 3 months I will be rich, so yeah, it's definitely just the game of probabilities, and at the end of the day, no one really knows what's going to happen next.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I was actually trying to clip something before coming on the stream, which is only a Sith deals in absolutes, and I think that's like the way that most people think about their forecasts. Because I tweeted something this morning, and I was like, oh, absolute fucking meme tweet. I drew a line here and just said, oh, it's gonna hold, right, guys? Like, it's nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing to do with that. It's all going to be pivoted around, an announcement. and that's what's going to drive today's flow.
Yeah, it's been kind of a drama lately on Twitter, and someone, mentioned like all the fundamental analysis is meme, and it doesn't work. All you need is fucking chart and everything. But at the end of the day, markets are moving based on fundamental news. There is like you don't have to care about it that much, but from like a very long-term perspective, markets will always move based on fundamentals. So definitely, like I said, the next cycle will happen when inflation drops down, when people will start feeling like like taking a risk again and all that, and it has nothing to do with if market is at the support at the time or stuff like that, basically.
Yeah, it's just going to be what's going on during today. I mean, do you have any particular biases on today? I mean, I know someone's asked what your BPS prediction is. You don't strike me as the kind of guy that has a BPS prediction.
Yeah, I keep my BPS predictions very kind of a modest to myself. But no, I don't. We talked about this before the stream. It's kind of funny thing that I've been doing this for quite some time. If someone would ask me on the street what FOMC is, I wouldn't be able to explain that to them. Same with bonds, same with NFPs, all these kind of things. There was just one point in my trading when I just realized I'm not going to care about that. And I kind of stuck to it. Basically, all you need to know is when the event goes live, the infamous market makers will pull out.
Who are out to take your profits.
Yeah, they of course are doing that, but in the cases of the event, they will pull out the orders from the book because they don't want to have actual directional risk, which is not something many people believe, but it is what happens, and this is the reason basically why markets tend to kind of overshoot a lot during the releases. So yeah, something that I am always very well aware if I'm trading lower time frames. I don't want to be positioned kind of too tight coming into the event because there is high likelihood that I will get blown over. But other than that, I don't care. And obviously there are people who try to, trade the events and have all the notifications and squawks and everything for the CPI numbers, and they try to manually click that. But yeah, it's at this time, someone in much bigger brain than all of us having army of algorithms that will be 10 times faster with much better execution speed and everything. So there's no point, in my opinion, to even try to do that. So yeah, I don't really care. I'm just aware of the volatility, basically.
I guess it takes me on to my next question, I guess, which is like, Do you care it's sort of bull bear market or anything like that, or you literally just want a bit of volatility on BTC and you just want, there to still be some fools left to take shekels
Well,
from?
I think something which I kind of realized is this year is that I actually prefer a bull market, not kind of because everyone is genius on Twitter. That's like the most annoying part. But I like when world is not going to shit. When there's like no war and I'm not losing my buying power every day and inflation isn't insane
Yeah,
and
that's
there
fair.
is electricity bill that can cost me a fucking kidney or something.
God.
So definitely I prefer I prefer when kind of world is not in complete shit. But yeah, overall I don't care that much. I like I said, I'm happy to take longs when I feel like I have a edge, and it's the same when taking the shorts basically. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. How's
Someone
Yeah, go
asked
on.
in the chat about the book recommendation, and I'm like a biggest hater on the trading books, actually. Like all the fucking trading in a zone and everything. I read it, not great, but I read a book recently. It's called, well, best. It's called Best Loser Wins, I believe.
Ooh.
I listened it on the Audible. Let me just check. Yeah, it's called The Best Loser Wins. It's from Tom Hogarth. He's trading equity indices. He's trading like a FTSE and DAX and Nasdaq and Dow. I think he's a day trader. He trades quite a size, which actually he also has everything kind of verified, which is nice. And he's like a legacy market degen basically. He like risks a lot, has like a huge drawdowns and everything, and he uses like the most simple way of technical analysis for his trading. And he talks a lot about things, how he kind of approached the market from this kind of a psychological perspective, which is kind of interesting. So definitely it's not a long book. The audiobook had like 6 hours. I listened it in a few days, so definitely a nice book to go through.
Nice. I was going to ask in the chat, how's everyone positioned into this? Are you all flat? Are you all waiting to long, waiting to short, waiting to do something? Or are you just going to sit out? Or anyone got any particularly strong views that we are at like a macro bottom or anything like that? Or that we are waiting to short, that we are going to zero? All in. Balls deep in long. Zero. Over leverage short. Wait for 5 after the news. Sidelined. Sit out. Yeah. Waiting to get liquidated. Flat. Small long 75. Fat short 100. Yeah, that's probably the thing, isn't it? Like I think you'll see it painted in the chart pretty quickly. If it is 100. See, this is the thing, Abe, is that if I'd have asked something like this about a year ago, full bull market territory, everyone would have
Yeah.
been balls deep pre-event on a 20x long or short.
Yeah.
There'd be none of this I'm sitting on the fence bullshit.
Yeah, definitely.
It would be I'm
And
fucking gambling. Let's bet more.
it's yeah, and it's super tricky with the news. Like I traded, when I was trading forex and more legacy markets, and I was trading throughout all these kind of ECB meetings. The news in legacy space have even like a bigger impact on the market. Crypto is basically the CPI numbers and the FOMC. But there are like a lot of cases when like news are bearish and market goes up. Like you have so many of these kind of variables, and it's super hard actually with macro, because like a lot of people nowadays are macro experts, but you need to be able to kind of time things. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, you,
So
you hit the nail on the head earlier. Like, right, everyone's a macro expert. Great. Okay, so you kind of know what's probably going to happen in terms of what gets announced, but how the fuck are you going to execute that faster than everyone
yeah.
with the scraper algos that can instantly execute, that are well trained for this in terms of, if price does this, then this is where you cut your size, etc. So I follow a
Yeah.
guy called Tree of Alpha who does it, and he does it really, really well.
Yeah, but I think like
just
a lot of people often kind of question if there is any sort of edge in technical analysis and discretionary trading and all of that. And I think there is definitely, I do it at the end of the day, so it should be. But I think where the edge got kind of lost over the years, since this kind of trading from home became popular, is this type of high frequency trading, when people really trade in news events, where people are picking up really ticks way quicker than you will most likely be able to do. And there are these high frequency trading firms which they just have the technology for it, that you can't compete with that, basically.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I was watching a documentary. I'll find it and shove it in the chat on pit traders uh, last night, and it was fascinating because like that whole thing has basically obviously gone to shit with the introduction of everything going online and being global. Now, I guess a question would for you is: do you think then, based on what you just said, do you think that the death of the manual retail trader is kind of imminent, or do you think um, there's always going to be a place, well, for us, I suppose?
Yeah, it's like I said, I think from like a from this like super quick way of trading, I think that is kind of gone. I like to think, and there was this interview with Carolyn, from Alameda, where she said like they don't look at technical analysis only on ways how to kind of counter trade them. So I think that from like a retail trading perspective, uh I think the issue with a lot of like classic stuff like indicators and all these like chart patterns like triangles, and you can see this. You will definitely, if you spend like 5 minutes looking at the Bitcoin chart, you'll find some sort of triangle that breaks out from for the other way, which is the way that TA books tell you to trade, and then it just smash through the opposite side basically within like few minutes and taking everyone out. So I would say that the edge is definitely there, but you need to be kind of thinking outside of the box, I would say, especially if you are new, thinking because it's kind of funny because, and this is actually covered in the book I mentioned, is that in trading in general, like 80 to 90% people lose money overall, and I think in crypto it's over 90% anyway. And you don't need to be kind of a gigabrain to come up with some new unique way of making money. All you have to do basically is just kind of figure out why these people are losing the money and just do the opposite. So
So if you're in the 80 to 90% of people who lose money, just counter trade yourself, and then there you go.
yeah, basically, yeah. No, but
Second best crypto asset.
and this is why I like to use the stuff like order flow, especially like I said in crypto, because you can really see, and these are simple support and resistance levels. I'm not using any kind of a complicated stuff, I would say, and you can very clearly see people just going ham and people getting stopped out. And these are the situations where you can just kind of pick the nice small trades, ride the market for a little bit, then trailer stop, get out, and move to the next trade basically. So yeah, there is definitely edge, but you need to be not spending your time, I would say, on YouTube and going this kind of a classic following influencers on CT. And yeah.
So are you saying that I should unfollow Moon Carl?
Yeah, something along these lines.
Am I not going to be a billionaire, Adam? Am I not?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of shit out there, but equally, like, everyone's free to lose their money however they want. Oh,
Yeah,
you're getting
basically.
you're getting asked if you'll do a 1-to-1 lesson.
I feel like a lot of people always ask me like where I live, and yeah, I'm not going do that. I'm not gonna do any kind of
yeah, can we meet up? You're definitely not getting robbed, are you? Definitely not.
yeah. And even when I met I met so many like cool people in even when I was living in Prague. But yeah, I'm not just kind of gonna meet up, Yeah, like if you are in Prague, congratulations, but I'm not going to meet up with you. like I don't know you, and yeah, we are not going to. I hate to break it to you, but we are not going to be friends. It's I'm very like my personal space type of person.
Oh dear. Sorry, someone just got like dumped on stream. That's the first time.
Yeah. He's now typing in Czech to kind of make the situation better, but yeah, still no.
He's good. When Adam OnlyFans, well, this was originally going to be a hot tub stream, but I decided to save the electricity because it's a bear market. So yeah, I couldn't afford the electricity.
I'm sitting at like a huge window which has the view to the street, and there's like a building opposite of that, so it would be kind of funny if I would be doing the bathtub streams, just sitting here naked and everyone.
Because they don't say the name of the street, otherwise people will turn up.
No, but this it's kind of insane. Like when I came here and I just posted like picture from the street. I was just walking around, and within like 5 minutes, someone sent me the address where I am. So it's like, it's I don't know, like I don't have the issue with, I understand if like some people want to meet and everything, but I still, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not particularly. I don't think I've actually met anyone from CT. I think there's probably about a handful of maybe 5 or 10 people that I would actually meet. But they're people who I've known for what, 5-10 years? 5-10 years? Sorry, about like 4 years. Do you know what I mean? And for me, like, I think if you're just like meeting someone, being like, oh, are you in London? Are you here? Are you there? Like, do you want to meet up? I'm like, no, what the fuck is wrong with you? What do you want to meet me? Like,
no, it's but I mean, like, it's like 90% of people have like good intentions and they just want to chat and meet people, but you never know. But I never met with anyone from Twitter as well. I never met. There were some occasions where I talked with some people who ended up being in the same city, but it never kind of worked out. Never really. I only want to meet in Silico. I don't want to meet anyone else.
You only want to meet in Silico?
Yeah. I'm really curious about him, but I don't think it's going to ever happen.
Yeah, I mean he's a character, isn't he?
Yeah, but he lives in somewhere in like fucking like Estonia or something like that. So
yeah, I've got to admit, like the conversations between like in Silico, you, SZ, Jim, when we were on like the steep descent down, they were probably what was keeping me going in the sort of back here in
I remember like market in winter, market was just going down and I was getting like Twitter banned for 24 hours like every other day basically.
He's just funny. He's just got his takes, his views, and the way that you guys exchange information is hilarious. I mean, I've still got him.
He's a funny guy, I don't even like talk to him in private. He just kind of like, I wake up on Sundays and he just send me like some super offensive memes, and then I respond something and he's not going to respond again, and we just talk on Twitter basically. So it's really funny.
Yeah, open conversation on Twitter.
Yeah. It's same with Jim and basically anyone else. I'm like, not part of. I mean, like I'm in like a lot of Discords and like the smaller private Discords, but I never kind of have much time to kind of interact with people and So like I said, I'm not the most social person, I would say.
So you're not in the grand influencer pump and dump group that calls the next coin before it happens.
Yeah, well, like bear in mind that I was the person who bought like at like $1,000, and I got like biggest shit for it from like everyone, and everyone was like, yeah, like fucking shilling, influencers and everything, and I literally bought the top. I think I lost like 18 grand on that overall. So, and people just keep giving me shit like every day for it almost, and I was like, yeah, but like I was like as late as you, like mostly the latest, so yeah,
To be fair, yeah, I did
it's
see
kind of.
someone mention it earlier in the chat when I was sort of talking to you about
Yeah,
altcoins and
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
It's definitely. And the best thing about is that I not only I bought, but I also told two of my close friends to buy as well.
Oh, brilliant!
And
But you use
yeah,
them as
yeah.
exit liquidity, right?
No, no, no. Well, basically, someone else used us at the end,
Oh,
but
okay.
what I did, I went to the they had a the eShop, and I bought them caps, so at least they got something from it. Yeah,
What? Some
it's
hats? They got some
yeah,
hats
yeah,
out of it.
like they had these hats with like 3 at the front. So yeah, I bought like 3 of them.
Yeah, you might have lost your life savings, but you did get a cap out of it, so it's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. And I talked to them, like I told them, like, don't do anything too stupid. So it wasn't that kind of brutal. But yeah, I'm overall, like, I'm terrible, altcoin trader. Like, there is like not one bright moment I can kind of point out that I did something, every time I bought something which went up, I sold it too early. The only thing which I did well was the dopex on the Arbitrum. I actually ended up making some decent money on that and sold around the top, actually, but which was mostly caused by my own loss, and I didn't want to kind of lose more money, so I mostly sold from fear. But yeah, I'm terrible when it comes to altcoins.
Oh, don't blame you, mate. I mean, I'm sure plenty of us in here have bought tops. Who in here? Who in? Yeah, go on and chat. Share like your worst entries. Like, what did you buy? Did you buy like, I don't know, fucking Bitcoin at 69K? Like, I'm intrigued because people are always sort of funny or find it funny to laugh at like other people's entries and stuff, but rarely do they come forward. I'm trying to think of my worst buys. ETH at the 2018 top. Yeah. Bitcoin at 42. That's not too bad. FTM at 280.
Well, Bitcoin at 42 is still like 50% drawdown. It's not amazing.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I was looking for like tops, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, I was the top. I mean, I'm pretty
Yeah, yeah.
sure I capitulated in 2017 or 2018 by the time at like the literal local bottom. So somewhere in like February. That was it. Yeah, I basically
Yeah.
sold down here somewhere. So I was pretty much the bottom of the market for a while. Locking magic for 6 months. Ooh, yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't laugh at it, but I'm gonna look at the dual chart because it always just it's
Oh,
like,
yeah, this one is bad. This one is like really, really bad.
I had some jewel, I had some magic. I sold some jewel, I sold some magic. But
The
yeah.
worst thing, the worst thing about Jewel is, like, I knew about it when it was like $1, before the whole move to 20.
Mm.
I think, like, yes, the Sazdart and some were quite vocal about it. They obviously get a ton of shit now, but to their kind of credit, they were talking about it even before it went to the $20. And I knew about it because I was in some Discord with them, and they kept mentioning it, but I never bought it, of course. So it's still chat like this. It's a little bit painful for me because, once again, I knew way before it went to that huge rally up, and I still haven't bought anything.
Yeah. I mean, I
But
think
yeah, this is brutal. Like, something like with devs happened, right? Like, or just it went just complete to shit.
yeah, I can't remember. I think there was some form of manipulation where you could like unlock your jewel and sell it and do whatever, but it's just like it's one of the most fucking depressing altcoin charts, and it's like
Yeah.
there was a tweet that Kobe did in 2018, which was something along the lines of, "What are you going to do next time you see a chart that looks like this?" And it was the Bitcoin chart, and this was like 3 or 4 months after it just then obviously went like that, and just fucking the whole market just died. And I was like, yeah, do you know what? Next time I see a chart like that, it's always fucking stuck with me. That even if you just take 50% off, like
Yeah, definitely.
that's kind of enough. And yeah, sadly,
Yeah.
this is what a lot of alts will probably look like after
Yeah.
their cycle. And very few of them will come back and do, huge runs again. But We'll see
I think like the vast majority of altcoins will like never reach the all-time highs, again, because it will just go
100%.
down so much that even if there is a next cycle and nothing new comes out of it, still it will just kind of push higher. But for most of the projects like this was it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I really like Joule. I really, I made a bit of money out of it. I thought it was an interesting concept of gamify, DeFi, and all that kind of wonderful stuff. But yeah,
I hated it so much. I thought
Did
it's
you?
so stupid.
See, this is funny because it's like so I have these chats with Magus who he's definitely a little bit more middle ground between the two of us. A flow trader and and a shitcoiner.
No, but I'm so terrible with this because when I first learned about NFTs, like my thoughts were the same, like this is so stupid. And when I looked at Joel for the first time, like I was like, this is just a DeFi for retards basically. And then it went from $1 to 15, and I was like, oh my god, it's DeFi for retards. It's so good. Why didn't I? So yeah, I always kind of hate on almost everything, and then after a few months I realized that that's the exact reason why it's going
Yeah,
up,
this is the exact reason that it's good, because it's so accessible and so dumb, and people can get it, and they can do their little quests and make $10 or whatever it is. Like what was it? AXS. Everyone was leaving. Leaving to breed their axes, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they were was it Koreans or something? It went absolutely
it's like
mad.
no, it's like it's from Vietnam or like Philippines or something like that.
Philippines, yeah, it was Philippines. That was the where they were all breeding axes and they were getting their smooth love potion, weren't they?
Yeah,
that is the most depressing chart I think I've ever and hopefully will ever see in crypto. I don't think you can get much worse than that, can you? That has got to be like a genuine 99.9% drawdown.
Yeah,
well, I suppose
pretty bad.
Someone's gonna say it in the chat, Luna, but yeah, that's quite horrific. Still haunted by the soundtrack on the Magic site. Having to log in every day to unlock it. Yeah, man, it's mad, isn't it? I remember when that kid got ribbed for selling his locked jewel for like $800,000.
Oh yeah,
or something.
I remember that actually as well. They made like this OTC website for it, and and he got so much shit for it, right? And it ended up being like a top.
Yeah, and I bet that bag now is worth like 18K or something instead of 800. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's mad. That kid made $1 million. Oh, yeah, fair play. I mean, I think he was like 18 or 21 or something. $1 million at that age is
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. He's like have a lot of time to lose it all in a short span of bad decisions, basically.
Yeah.
It's so insane, like the confessions page on Twitter, like it's just a lot of these people, making life-changing money and then just losing it after a few months. It's been like this very common topic.
Yeah, man. So Rarely Sensitive Boy has asked quite sensitively, let's look at some setups. How about that? I mean,
sure.
Have you got anything that you're looking at in particular, Adam?
Well, when it comes to Bitcoin, actually, like I said, I was fairly bullish coming to this week, which didn't really play out. I thought that on like 6th September when we made that kind of flash and then we pushed from there and reclaimed this whole structure, I wasn't really expecting that kind of low getting revisited. So I didn't really get that one right, but I don't know. At this point, we tried to make this little bit of reversal. We failed to kind of push anything. It's hard to say here, to be fair. Like if we would be able to reclaim that kind of I think it's Friday kind of high around, it was like 17 September. If we once again, push above those kind of ASR levels there, then this might go higher. But yeah, for me overall, this is not something super attractive to kind of a long hold for like a longer period. both for going long or short basically here. I think that we can very easily revisit the June low, which is this kind of 17K. It really depends. Like I said, I'm not much into predicting future. I much rather kind of react to things that happen in real time. But I don't find anything kind of particularly interesting, even from like a intraday perspective. Market is just going up today. We have, I think personally, what I like to do on FOMC days actually, or like a days with high volatility news, is I usually kind of sit it out or trade, like if the event happens in the US afternoon, I will only trade the morning, like the London session, and then let the session play out. And after the event, once liquidity is back and everything is kind of moving a little bit slower but still quite volatile, then start trading. So like 10 minutes after the release, basically you can get like very nice short-term rotations kind of, and you won't get slipped too much.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough, mate. I mean, I've only, for me today, I've put a small amount of money into a DGen account because, I genuinely believe that trading into this is, it's just not high EV. It's just gambling, and it's just, if you want to have a little flutter on today's events, then by all means, but don't risk your net worth. And I've got a simple thought process, which is essentially we've had some very strong moves from Ape, Atom, and previously XRP. And from a sort of structure perspective, XRP isn't looking too bad. It's come out of this consolidation. Ape again, this quite sort of key pivot for me, and like the big confluence for me is these low time frame rotations. We've had quite strong ones from Ape, Atom. XRP is proving me wrong as we speak down here on this latest rotation, but that's fine. And really, if we get a scenario where Bitcoin gets bid, and I will just basically ape into Ape or XRP or both or Atom, and I will try and take a couple of percent out of the market, and that's it on a very small degenerate account. I was looking at Matic and stuff for potential shorts, sort of reacceptance back into this down here, but I haven't positioned in this yet, and I don't think I will. I'd probably be more likely to play a long scenario if we get something of that ilk. But yeah, Matic hasn't shown its strength particularly lately on Spaghetti, so there's no reason for me to try and veer out of in-play coins. And
do you also like short those that show weakness?
Rarely.
Rarely, yeah.
So I've actually pivoted quite a lot to long only, and trying to long strong altcoin rotations, purely because if you catch a small loss, break even, and quite a few of my trades are break even, like around 40% of my trades are just me sizing on and sizing off, which some people say you shouldn't have break even trades, you let it play out and all that kind of wonderful stuff, but no, not me. And then I have small wins, and then I have big wins, and that's it. But very low win rate. When you catch a couple of good rotations, it can set you up. And if you look at things like CHZ, which is actually currently under my potential shorts, and this was off. Look, I did take a short on this yesterday. We had some divergences across the top, and we essentially had this just weakness. But I only took a very small short up here, and I closed it down there. So I was a paper-handed pussy. Like I don't have much conviction directionally at the moment. So my trading, my average trade is, I think it's 1 hour 30. So yeah, I'm paper handing generational short entries potentially, but a win's a win. Set stop and walk away. No.
Yeah, like I'm in kind of the same, very similar holding periods for trades as well. I, like I said, since I moved, I tried to swing a little more, but I'm just not a fan. Like holding trades overnight, being kind of exposed, especially now. We had this. Putin was talking. I think yesterday. It's just a lot of things that can very quickly change. So yeah, because it's kind of I would say like difference between like bulls and bear markets when usually bull markets just kind of end with this huge kind of a overshoot things when people just kind of try to push it too much. A lot of people blow out at the same time. Most of these stops basically happen at the same time. But when you have a bear markets, you have like all these different kind of factors coming in, and you have all these news releases, and there is some like when markets were recovering from COVID, basically it was, I don't know if anyone remembers, like you had all these kind of vaccine kind of news coming out, when all of a sudden,
Yeah, they found a
some company,
vaccine.
yeah, they found a vaccine, and market just overshoot the thing a lot. So it was around that kind of recovery period when I don't think anyone really thought the huge bull market is about to happen. So yeah, it's definitely kind of trickier to hold things longer in these kind of a more uncertain times.
Yeah, 100%. Well, so certainly for me anyway. But yeah. So has anyone got any questions in the chat or anything like that? How's CHZ looking? I mean, it's been pretty strong lately, my friend. Has anyone got any questions for Abe? Because what I'll do at the end of the stream about 10 minutes time is I'll host Yim Talbot, or Jim Talbot as he's also known, who's going to stream afterwards. How do you scale in and out of positions, Adam?
Oh, well, I don't, to be fair. I'm
You're not
very
scared, you're
much,
just Ape in.
no, yeah, I'm very much to this old school approach of trading with buying at the price that I want to. I usually use the limit orders. I have always a hard stop.
There's no second.
But what I actually started to do recently is not setting up the take profits for the trades, and just kind of because it's fairly easy for this kind of day trading approach when you are at the charts anyway,
Yeah,
to just kind of manage the trade in the real time. So I am getting more kind of a comfortable to giving some profits back, but obviously having this kind of a option to let things ride if it's really going to kind of overshoot.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, but I'm not really scaling in. I'm never really like setting up multiple limit orders or anything like that. My way of trading, I would say, it's still discretionary strategy, but it's very kind of a with a lot of systematic rules, basically. So I know what I kind of want to see in the market, and I exactly know where I want to be a buyer or seller.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm pretty like old school with that.
I like it. What do you think your biggest contributing factors to your trading success are?
I think it would be definitely the fact that I never really like YOLO'd in. I'm fairly kind of risk averse. You cannot be too much of a risk averse, like being too scared of losing, because it will happen anyway. But yeah, like I never really got myself into the situation where I was like, well, if this is not going to work out, then I'm fucked up, basically. So if you really kind of keep your betting size is normal, and you kind of realize that all of this takes a lot of time, and you will have like good and bad periods, then if you won't be doing too much of a stupid things, that there is a high chance that you will end up making some money at the end.
So survive, and
Yeah.
relatively risk averse. How do you guys balance only invest what you're willing to lose with having conviction and sizing up? Ooh.
Well, haven't actually held any crypto this year, so and I'm not like holding any stocks or anything. Basically, I'm like mostly in like online cash. But when I don't really, I don't know, like I'm not, I would say that I don't, and this might sound actually a little bit dumb, but since, like all the trades that I take, even on higher time frames, they have some invalidation points basically. I don't see many reasons to buy spot for me personally. Like if I want to hold something for a longer time, I still can do it in futures. I can do it in options, which is probably, I would say, the best way to, if you want to really hold something for like a year, let's say, I'll just buy a call option. It has well-defined risk, if you are not, if you want to give things a little bit of room, and you don't want to be using a stop loss, you will buy a call option, which will have this just the premium you will pay for it, and obviously you need to be aware of the time decay. But yeah, like I'm like everything I do, and once again, this is probably the reason why I missed a lot of the upside when markets were just going batshit crazy, but also on the other hand, why I was able to kind of sell in November and not do anything stupid that would cost me a lot of money, is that I am trading with a lot of kind of defined rules when it comes to my entries and my stops and all that. So I rarely hold actually a spot.
But just to be clear, you don't like. Let's say, just for argument's sake, that your portfolio is $100,000 and you are risking 1% every single time. There's not a time where you go, okay, well, I'm gonna risk 2 or 3%, or maybe I'll risk 5% because I've never seen this type of free trade before. So, for example, USDT going down to 95 cents. You know, you weren't tempted just to whack 100% in there and just buy it all knowing that you can redeem it or such stuff, stuff like that. You don't see any quote
Yeah,
unquote.
I not something that I did. Obviously, when markets went kind of crazy, I was
Yeah,
risking a little bit more, giving things a little bit more room, when it comes to the, because obviously there is like this thing, like risk 1 or 2% is super kind of common advice.
yeah,
You basically hear every time, but it's much more kind of complex than that. First of all, if you're winning 80% of the time, there is like, you can definitely risk more. Obviously, someone who wins like
yeah,
80% of the time, I would expect like their risk reward, is kind of in the smaller sizes. You are winning small, but you win a lot, or you are like winning big, but your win rate is kind of smaller. So you need to kind of balance that. And also, what I think is important, like let's say if you have 100K in your trading account, and you are day trading, you are doing something like I do. For example, I take, like 2 or 3 trades a day, sometimes even more. There are people who take even more than that.
yeah, yeah,
uh, I need to kind of sit down and be like, okay, so let's imagine like my day is not great, like I will lose, I know that based on my strategy, I get around 2 or 3 opportunities in a day. So if I lose all of these 3 trades, I will lose like what amount of money I'm going to lose basically. And if I will be risking 3%, do I want to end up with 10%, almost 10%, account in drawdown in one day? That's kind of a lot.
yeah, yeah,
So I will adjust my risk based on that. But uh, if on the other hand, I'm swing trading and I'm looking at the daily time frames, and I'm especially, only trading like BTC and ETH, and I know that I will take one trade in like what, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, like there is overall not many opportunities. Like should I be risking only 1%? It will take ages to see. Even like if you have, like if you have 100K account, you will risk 1K on this kind of a swing trade, which, you have a bigger stop loss. So you will get like, 3 or 4 times in your return, you will make a 3K if the trade ends up playing out basically. So there is not like, that doesn't really make sense to me, risk like 1 or 2% if you are only trading, when the higher time frames are kind of in line with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that
So
makes
you need
sense.
to kind of know your trade frequency, and overall what kind of a drawdown you can expect for a strategy and stuff like that basically.
Yeah, someone else asked, what advice would you have for someone building up a small account? Is more or
Well, I
less
think
trades better? Oof.
Well, I think like everyone should build a small account because there is this, like the confessions thing, or people that, I know some people that I know a guy who started trading. He was then doing, before that he did something, different, and he came into trading with quite a bit of money. I think it was like 500,000 euros or something like that, and he lost everything basically.
Wow.
And a lot of people who like made a lot of money in a bull market, with like one or two trades, just kind of YOLO'd into something, and they made like high six figures. They will end up losing it because they don't know how to trade with these amounts of money basically. So I would say that everyone should be able to build a small account, to be able to trade with more money. If you never traded, and then you see a couple $1,000 just disappear within a few minutes, because you made some sort of mistake or anything, it will be very hard for people to manage. So but at the same time, if you start once again with 5K, let's say $5,000, you will be risking 1%. You are making $50 per trade. That's not really it's something that a lot of people can stick to because they will get bored from it basically. So what I would kind of recommend is, if it all depends basically on how much money you have. It's kind of hard to it's a very personal thing, but if you, let's say, have like your overall net worth is within, like, let's say 50K, and you just put 5K into the trading account, and obviously you need to be able to, you need to have some sort of strategy. You need to be able to managing risk, not just kind of gambling, randomly kind of buying and selling things. But if you do that, then you can kind of risk a little bit more, and you can, it's not going to be too hard to, if you have some money set aside, and you will be, going through 20-30% drawdown on 5K account, which is like $1,500, for example. But if you will just jump into the trading with 500K, and you are 150 in drawdown, and you never experience something like this, and everything is new for you, that will kind of fuck you up quite a
Yeah,
bit.
I mean, there's a strange perception. I've seen people say it'll be easier when I've got more capital. And it's like, the
No,
ups will
it's
be better,
yeah,
the downs
yeah,
will not be.
yeah. Like you really need to kind of go through, I would say, like the small accounts, and kind of detach yourself from the whole money perspective. Because if you just jump in with a bunch of cash, and then you take a trade, and you lost like 5 grand within a couple of minutes or hours, and you'll be like, damn, like I could buy quite a few things with this money.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing with my life here? So definitely I would recommend anyone to kind of, if you won't be able to build a small account, you won't be able to trade with a big one.
Yeah, 100%. It's process over profits, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
People
Because
watch.
overall, obviously, if you are not trading some obscure shit coins basically that have like very low liquidity, you won't be facing any kind of issues with these strategies when it comes to like Bitcoin or ETH. All I think I don't trade altcoins much, like, but I think these later ones, they are still big markets. They are liquids. If you are not scalping 1 minute time frame basically on, I don't know, like you don't have a problem to buy BNB, or buy ape with some bigger size basically. So you will never be, you will never face this issue that like you are too big for market basically. So definitely you need to have any type of system where uh when kind of a bad things happen. And this is what I do always, is like, when I have a drawdown, when I have like string of losses, I just open the journal, and I just look at like all the trades, and I take screenshots of all the setups that I take and everything, and I just look at these things, and it gives me this type of kind of a reassurance that I'm not that retarded, and the things that I do actually work, and it's just kind of a bad period, which will then most likely pass, and it will be good again, basically. But if you just jump in with a bunch of money and you don't have any kind of a thing to rely on when things go wrong way, that it will be extremely hard for anyone to kind of survive that.
Yeah, 100%. So you're not going to advise people to YOLO in on 100x leverage and
No,
trade this 1 minute candle that we're going to get later.
when people ask me about a small account, I always kind of tell them to just put the like $1,000 or whatever, risk the 1%, or just the smallest amount, but you have to take it super seriously, and you have to journal all the trades that you do. And once you have a journal, when you have at least, like, I don't know, this depends on the trade frequency, but once you have, let's say, 100 trades journaled, you will get some idea of some sort of statistic that you can expect. Then you can bump up the risk a little bit, or add a little bit more money, and kind of gradually work your way up, basically. But yeah, like, trading is definitely you need a lot of money to make money, basically. And you need to be trading from a position where it's not like this month PNL, I'm either paying rent or not, so it's really hard, basically. You really need to have a buffer to be able to kind of sit in front of the computer and just kind of shut down everything and just focus on following the system. Because if there is this, I need rent money, I need to pay electricity bill, I need money for this and that, you won't be trading very well.
No, the pressure is just going to crush you, isn't it?
Yeah.
You are just going to be unobjective off the back of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Right, well, I think I've chewed your ear off for, like, what? An hour?
Yeah.
An hour and a half?
Yeah, it's hour and 36 minutes now.
Yeah, very precise. I like that. So, I think we'll probably call it a day there, guys. Cheers, Adam, for coming on. It's nice to chat to you.
Thanks for having me. It's been a nice chat.
One of the I'm obviously one of the few people that you'll actually talk to, which I feel privileged.
Yeah.
I feel exceptionally privileged, in fact. But yeah, it's been insightful, mate, and it's been a pleasure having you here. And to
Thank
answer
you.
questions in the chat, yes, it will be replayable. That's Abe's Twitter. If you want to follow it, he's got loads of resources on his tradingriot.com/bootcamp, which is in his bio, as you can learn how he trades off there and executes quote unquote proper trades, not degenning shitcoins. So yeah, I'm going to host the legendary Jim Talbot, who has just come online for your viewing pleasure. And yeah, in the meantime, follow Abe, follow the stream, and hear Michael Saylor's voice. And see you all soon.
Cool. Thank you. Bye.
Cheers.
There is no second best. There is no second best crypto asset. There is no second best. There is no second best crypto asset. There is no second best.